All right, episode 8, the final episode. So I guess I was even righter. That's not really a word, but so in the last video, I had made a prediction right before the episode got into itself that Connor was the killer. And when I was doing that, I was pointing around the room and being like, it's someone in this family. It's either him or his crazy stepmom or his sister. Man, I was 2 for 3 on that one. Wow, okay, so the sister is in on it with him, which I did not see coming. So I was only right accidentally. But Connor I did call. Jen I did not call. So we get an almost kiss between Connor and Sidious here. And he has brain matter on the back of his head, which I thought that was pretty great. She like put her hand on the back of his head, and his fingers like were just like it was like right in between her fingers. Oh man, you never know what's going on in someone else's life. I asked myself early on why the hell didn't Dan just attack Connor when he had the chance, but he went back and he grabbed Angel and they attacked him together. And I'll say this, man. This season has been kind of a rocky path. It's had some silliness to it. It's had a lot of eye roll moments. It's had a lot of dramatics, a lot of questionable logic, this and that. But I will say this. I loved this last episode. I loved this episode. So, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, right? So, if you take something that's okay or mediocre or decent and you slap a great ending on it, then that makes for a really good season. I'll say that this has the best last episode of the 3 seasons for me. So because of this strong ending, I think it will become my favorite season of the show now, tacking this ending on, because I really liked this episode. I really liked pretty much everything that happened in it. And no wonder they cover Middle Eastern women up in those hijabs and whatnot. Because those women are hot, man. I know they are actually hot because those things make them sweat, but Middle Eastern women are quite attractive. All right. Not really sure why I threw that in here, but I was looking at it when she took her, when she took her head wrap off there. I was like, I saw her before, but yeah, Middle Eastern women are very, very attractive. All right. And oh man, this stepmom, her cooking probably would have killed them before the druid would have got at Sidious there. So they should have just let her eat up, because it's undercooked eggs and when she like poured it out of the pan and it was still all goopy and undercooked. Oh, it's actually making me sick to my stomach even fucking recollecting that scene right now. Gross. And then she shows her like her little fucking crazy mantle of collections that she's assembled from going in like people's trashes and picking up like blood from their fucking tampons and shit and putting it up in this little makeshift diorama of insanity. It's gross and definitely makes you think. It makes you understand why she would think she was the killer there. Because of how whacked out she is. And so she does that because she wants to put a curse on people, and she thinks she brings that to fruition through her charms there. And almost technically she does, but she doesn't, because those 2 druids do live with her and are inspired by that, and maybe her craziness also added to that insanity, in them. Would make sense. The mom was nutty enough to burn herself, then they're living with a nutcase. It would drive pretty much anyone mad, especially having to witness your mom burn herself like a fucking an act of the Buddhist act of whatever the hell they call that, where they fucking burn themselves in the street. Oh, terrible. Yeah, I just keep asking myself, where the hell are Sidious' parents in this show? It's just her dad is so, like, I was talking about that in the first episode, how I really liked the connection between the family. It felt genuine. It felt like he really loved her and this and that. And then just never to be seen again in the whole show. She gets a phone call, but we don't even see the guy again. It's weird. It's like, where the hell where are these parents? I don't think they died, right? I didn't see anyone. If I missed that, I don't think I did. I think they address it, but I don't remember what they said. They went somewhere or some bullshit. They would have been home if they went somewhere. All right. Then it does this. She realizes that he's the killer because she knows the smell of burning corpses. I loved that. She watched her whole family burn up. I was reading once upon a time that our smell, actually, of all of our senses, is the one that's most linked to memory. And smell has the greatest effect on our memory. So her smelling those bodies and knowing what that smell is of burning corpses does hold true to what I've read anyway. Who knows how fucking true that is, but from what I've read. So I liked that. And then when the friend, before I realized, Jen was in on it, when she tells her, like, you know what that smell is, and it's like, oh yeah, her fucking mom burned to death right in front of her. She would also know. And it seems almost poetic that he's burning all the corpses of these people in the same way that his mother died, and then he's also pushed into the fire by Angel and burned up by him, so he also dies by fire. And I really like that. I really like that death. I really like how he holds him in the fire and Angel's arms are catching on fire and he doesn't care. He's still holding him in there out of pure anger that he killed his lover. Not sure why Angel died from that. I mean, he was in a pretty bad spot, so maybe the shock of it on his body killed him there. But when he came out and his arms were all singed and charred, and I was like, oh shit, Angel's fucked. Like, he's gonna have to have those amputated. And then, Dan comes over and he just like pops his eyes closed, which I've heard from like morticians that actually doesn't work. You have to glue their eyes down. If you try to close their eyes pop right back open. So supposedly that's a fucking movie thing. You can't keep their eyes closed like that. But anyways, yeah, he closes and I'm like, oh, he's dead. And I'm like, is he? Like, at the end of this, I was still like, you might want to call an ambulance. Hopefully they get someone there quick, because not 100% positive Angel's dead there. And all right, where are we? So yeah, she realizes that she figures it out, because she outright tells her, and so she drugs her, and she's trying to make sense of it to her. She's trying to tell her why she's doing it, this and that. They went back and forth. They planned it out. Once the killer was caught, you think they would probably have to stop, because then their alibi kind of goes away. They were going to use her as an alibi, but once the killer's caught, it's like, he's your main alibi. Once he's caught, then the killings need to stop, because anything that happens after him, although I guess if you killed them and then burned their bodies, he could take the fall for all of it, because he wouldn't have the forensics evidence to show at what time of death, the TOD. So, I don't know. I guess, yeah, as long as you're burning all the bodies, I don't know if they would be able to tell time of death, so you could still pin it on him. But I don't know if they're that smart. I don't even know if that would work. Shit, with forensics these days, can't get away with shit. Or at least they lead us to believe that by all the CSI shows. And then it kind of goes through this montage of why they're all guilty. And I get it. I mean, they're not really responsible. Their mom's fucking responsible for doing something so stupid by posting that online, and then doing something so stupid by overreacting to people, overreacting about what she says, to the point where she kills herself. I don't know. It's such an overreaction. It's ridiculous. But as I said, you gotta just take this show for how it is. So yeah, I like that Jen goes off and kills her stepmom there and brutally stabs her to death. I don't know why I like that, but it just, I liked that scene. I really like everything about this episode, actually, as I said. And then I already said all that shit. Sidious comes down there and she protects Dan. Dan, shoves him away. No, go, I got this. Grabs the axe, goes, takes on Jen, stabs her in the leg, runs off, and then Jen comes upstairs and Sidious grabs a fire extinguisher and hits the blade up, which goes back into her neck. And so Jen's on the ground dying, and she's like, "You were the only good one." And she was like, "Actually, I wasn't. I was the one who reposted it. I'm kind of the person who's responsible for all of this," which I thought was a total fuck you moment. Great shit. I was like, oh man, that's brutal. But I don't blame her. I don't blame her for freaking retweeting something so god awful. But at the same time, people would have got over it. Killing herself. Anyway. Love the twist ending of her being, the person who retweeted. I liked the sister actually being in on it. I think it makes sense. For the show, I don't know how realistic that is in real life, but this show ain't based in no real life. I think that confirms that the killer that's, incarcerated, that's being held at the prison there, or the jail, it did kill Kit and that girl out of jealousy. And then they use this after the mom was killed to seek vengeance for their mother's death. But she killed herself. What are you going to do? Dig her up and fucking, kill her again? Because she was the one who did it all to her damn self. Yes, everyone in that apartment complex, whatever, there were some shitty people in there. It's kind of funny to me that the Muslim girl and the white pride dude are the ones who live together. And I liked that him and Angel bonded. I don't like the message that someone like that is beyond hope, that they can't come back from that something couldn't change them like this. I would hope that Dan sees the errors of his ways here. He seems to bond with the homosexual. He seems to accept that he was saved by a Muslim woman. So he's assisted by a homosexual man who's a minority himself. And then he's also helped out by a foreign refugee who he would, of course, label as a terrorist. So I like that he has a redemption in this. He loses his daughter, and he, when the time calls on him to put aside his hate and his bigotry, and his misogyny and every other damn thing that's wrong with him, he does. And I like that he doesn't have to be killed off, that he actually gets to be redeemed, that he isn't just seen as some deplorable asshole, which he was, but he does find himself in the end. And I like that about that. You don't see that as much. They always kill those people off like it's just such an easy thing. But no, he had his moment. I like that. So overall, it was a fun show. Absolutely ridiculous, dramatic as fuck, all over the place. But in the end, I had a really good time. A lot of great kills, a lot of really good aftermath gore, cool killer reveals. Held me. I was confused all the way up until the end, and when it hit, it all made sense. What'd you guys think? Obviously, if you're watching this, a lot of people will only watch this video and nothing else, and that's cool. What'd you think of the season overall? Would you want to watch a fourth season? And what is your ratings as it stands? Right now, for me, it's just backwards. 3, 2, 1. That's how I like this show as it stands right now. I do hope it gets renewed for another season. Hell yeah, I'll watch another fucking 5 seasons, I'm sure. It's a show about slashers. I mean, I'm a slasher fanatic. So yeah, give me a TV show about slashers, and every new season is a whole new story. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. So, and we get an American Horror Story slasher themed season this year with the gorgeous Emma Roberts, my lady. So I'm heavily looking forward to that, and I will definitely be chatting about that on my channel, much like I did with Apocalypse last year. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining me through all of this. If you did watch every one of these, it's been a ride. We did it all in one day. We got it done. all in one day. And this whole thing is set in 24 hours. And I think I started at midnight, and it's like midnight right now. So it's kind of funny. It's a 24-hour story, and I watched it and got it all reviewed and up in 24 hours. That's kind of cool. It's kind of funny. All right, guys. Adios.